Hi, AT from CNC at Home. Now that we've made this whole stack of coasters, I'd like to create a box so that I could store them and or ship them if needed. At least have a way of traveling with them so they don't break. So I'm going to take this box that I had around in the garage and I'm going to make a smaller box out of it. First thing we do is split it open and see what we have to work with. There's plenty of cardboard here to make a box. I just need to figure out which orientation is going to work best. Using my coasters as a template, I can get a good idea of which way is going to work better for this. This direction, there's not enough cardboard to wrap all the way around, so that's not going to work. If I make the box in this orientation, there's plenty of cardboard. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off this excess off the bottom with my X-Acto knife. I was having trouble getting the cardboard to cut well with the X-Acto knife. So I abandoned the X-Acto knife and went and got my utility knife from the garage. This has a nice sharp blade in it and should make quick work of this cardboard. Ah, that's how it should cut. Using the tiles for my dimension, I just roll it over to get an idea of how much cardboard I'm going to need. So this is how long it is, and then I add in about a ½ inch or so for overlap. Using my straight edge, I cut off the piece of cardboard that I'm going to use to create my box. These little tabs aren't needed, so I'll get those cut off as well. I'll use my coasters as a guide to make sure that everything is going to fit in this new box with the piece that I've cut out. I'll also need to take the cardboard and flip it over. I want this yellow on the inside of the box so that the outside of the box looks normal. Using my coaster as a template, I find the first bend point, and it bent nice and easily right along one of the creases. The next bend didn't work quite so well. I got the good location, but it went crooked. So I got my straight edge and used that kind of like a brake so that I could get a nice straight bend in the cardboard. And I repeated that down for the next one. When I got to the end, I have my little bit of overlap. So I placed my straight edge in the correct location so I could get that bent as well. Just quick fold this up and see if the basic shape looks about right. And it does. This is starting to look like a box. The next step will be to cut out the flaps for the bottom and then for the top. I cut these notches a little bit too wide, so when I did the top, I made them a little closer together. I'll need to trim these flaps a little bit shorter as they're overlapping. This would have been a good time to take a measurement. I just eyeballed it. Eyeballing it, not such a good idea. They ended up being too short. Not a problem since this is the bottom of the box, but there'll be a little hole. I ended up covering that up with a piece of cardboard on the inside of the box, just to take up a little bit of space. For the top flaps, I made the notches closer together. This worked out well. After learning from the first time, I grabbed my ruler and measured how long these flaps are going to need. They ended up being approximately 2¼ inches. So I measured that out, made some marks, and then cut these flaps to be the appropriate length. There, that looks much better. Starting to look like a real box. Using the tiles once again, I closed the box up before gluing it all together to make sure that everything fit properly. Looks like this is a good size for these tiles. To make sure that my hot glue adheres correctly, I'm going to take off this yellow shiny coating from the side where I want to glue it. This will help the glue soak in and adhere and get a good nice stick. Here we've got that peeled back. Now we're ready to glue. I got my hot glue gun all warmed up and ready to go. Again, using the tiles in the box to help hold its shape, I folded it over and then put a bead of glue down my tab. Then I just fold the box together, and again using these coasters to keep the shape and the size, got this edge all glued up. Next we need to glue the bottom shut. This went relatively smoothly, put a little extra on my seam. Now I'm going to put the tiles into my box to make sure everything is still working like I wanted. The tiles are fitting nicely. The top closes. This is going to be a great box for these tiles.
Oops.
Hi, I'm AT from CNC at Home. If you like our content, help support our channel by clicking on subscribe and liking our videos. Thank you for watching this video. Have fun with your CNC at Home projects.